So I'd like to welcome Mark Roberts, who's our Chief Marketing Officer here at ShoreTel.
Hi, Mark.
Mark joined us in December 2013, I think, and has over 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, product management, and joins ShoreTel after holding a number of senior positions at companies like Intel, Polycom, and Intel, and has been really instrumental in helping lead ShoreTel over the last couple of years towards the launch of ShoreTel Connect. So I'm going to hand over to Mark, and Mark's going to take us through what ShoreTel Connect is about. So over to you, Mark.
Thank you. Before I start, does anyone else feel like they're at a wedding reception?
Yes.
All right, it's not just me. I feel like I should start off with, we are gathered here today. We've even got our own photographer in the back. So we've got some wine and cheers to the whoever. Sorry, Anna, just wait for my... Is there a plate here? You okay there? You need a hand? So I wanted to take some time just to take you through where we are in terms of product introduction. That flash is pretty bright. By the way, that's not a real. He's got an iPhone 6 in there. That's just a case he's put around that. Don't be impressed by the big camera. Take you through where we are in terms of the journey, the products that we're introducing, but not really the products. It's more about the company and the journey that we've been on over the last 2-something years that is culminating in the introduction of a product that we call Connect, or a solution that we call Connect to the marketplace. So we started off a few days ago. Was it a few days ago or 2 days ago? I'm losing track of countries and time zones and things. But we started off on Tuesday, US time, ringing the bell at NASDAQ. Great experience. If you have ever been involved in this, you know how well orchestrated this is. And if you've ever seen the ringing of the bell and people clap in for a couple of seconds, it doesn't happen like that. They actually have you clapping for about 4 or 5 minutes while they're going, and there's people in front of you and cheerleaders go, keep going, keep clapping, while the varying networks pick you up. Arms are aching at the end, but at least we've got some coverage out of it. So I wanted to just take through some quick facts of ShoreTel, who we are. So we've just come off our financial year, FY15. So our financial year is at the half year. We had a good year from a revenue perspective, profits perspective, margin perspective. More than $360 million in revenue. We put over $90 million in the bank. And to put this in context, in the last 2 years, we've put more cash in the bank than we did in the previous 6 or 7 years of ShoreTel. And it's been this 2-year transformation that I want to focus on as I take you through the story. So more than $90 million in cash, there's a $100 million line of credit, and we have absolutely zero debt. We paid down all debt as of last year. On a global basis, more than 1,100 partners, and we have a pretty wide variety of types and style of partners, anything from distribution through to service providers. Customer base is extensive, in excess of 35,000 CP, which we refer to as on-site customers. More than 4 million end users powering millions and millions of conversations every single day. And as you're probably aware, certainly in the US, we've had a pretty extensive history with cloud. ShoreTel Sky being the primary offering that's over there. And on the ShoreTel Sky platform, more than 4,000 cloud customers. And together with that, we have the industry-leading NPS as you start looking at a cloud and a premise blended NPS score. So we're talking about one platform, and when I refer to one platform, this is whether it's cloud or whether it's premise-based. It's just one platform with one experience. But it's a little bit more than that. And I talk about this being foundational because this is really the way that the company is thinking. It's just one user experience, one single platform, one code base, and one common set of clients. But in order to do that, you have to look at pretty much every single facet of the company. The reason we're doing it is so we can introduce features to our user base faster, quicker than you would if it was a pure product offering. And so you'll see small, incremental feature amounts as you would in a cloud offering with our premise solution. So as you look at it, there are 3 deployment models, and I was speaking earlier about a scenario that we have inside ShoreTel. So in Sunnyvale, Silicon Valley, we own and operate the switches, and it's one experience, it's one kind of experience. As you go to New York, we actually have ShoreTel Cloud, and it's a slightly different experience. You've got to log into the phones, the conference call itself, it's slightly different, the passcodes are a different length, and it's this difference in between cloud and premise that causes confusion as users. We see a world where that is exactly the same, whether you are cloud, premise, or doing a mix and match of the two, hybrid. Now obviously we're focused very much with the on-site or the premise solution here at the beginning of the launch in Asia Pac, and later as we look towards introducing the cloud solution, we'll keep you up to date when we have announcements. I wanted to take just a minute though to look at how many new features and functionality that was improved in the Connect platform. So this was an example of what was new and improved in our last release of software for CPE. This is what we're including in Connect, and this has been a 2-year journey to develop this solution with all of these capabilities. The point of the slide isn't necessarily to take you through every single one. The point is to visually demonstrate how much features and functionality we're bringing to market in this new platform. One of the areas that we looked at was how easy it is to order, because one of the issues you have as you introduce features and functionality is you make it more complicated. And being the company that's known for being brilliantly simple, that didn't really jive with our market position. And so we took a look at it and got back to just 3 basic packages. So when somebody's shopping for a solution, it's simple and easy to look at and quote. There's an Essentials, a Standard, and an Advanced. As you look at it, and these prices, by the way, are Australian dollar. So as you look at it, the Essentials is the starting package for unified communications. That includes things like an extension, a mailbox, you've got IM collaboration, all of the aspects that you would expect in a UC solution. As you move towards the standard offering, which is really where most of our customers are, we now add in a CRM integration. And Salesforce.com, typically the most popular of the bunch. And I know some of you guys are headed to Dreamforce fairly soon, so you'll hear more about this there. On the advanced, you get all of those features, so it's a cumulative, plus the operator. So think of a power user, somebody that needs to redirect calls, front desk, admin, somebody that actually needs to organize and route calls throughout the organization.
Is that per
Yeah.
user per month?
No, that's a one-time CAL license. This is not a cloud approach, purely on-site.
Right, okay.
As we do a cloud offering, we're not introducing that today in this region, but as we do that, we'll come back to you with the pricing for the cloud. In the US, it's, again, a very, very simplistic, same kind of approach. You can go cloud prem or a mix and match of the two as hybrid.
Was the CAL was in the handset as well?
No, the CAL does not include the handset. So looking at one user experience, again, this is really the center, the ethos of what we're trying to do here. PC Mac equivalents, often you find that the clients just behave slightly differently depending where you are. For us, it's critical that it's exactly the same. But more importantly, that dead easy meeting initialization. You often hear a mantra inside ShoreTel, it's like, why does this, we're taking 20 minutes to set up for a 30-minute conference call. It makes no sense. With passcodes, numbers, 10-digit, etc., etc. And so the focus was very much on that, let's just make it real simple. And this fluid shifting of modalities, really referring to being able to start an IM session, simply escalate to voice if you need, or vice versa, add video, collaboration. The Connect client for EXO is if you have somebody that's not part of the organization, but still needs to join in the call, this is an EXO client that gives you same feature and functionality provided you are joining a meeting. So soft phone, video included as well, no charge. But it also, this one user experience extends to the contact center too. So if you are looking at a desktop client, which you will see demonstrated live later, and you look at the agent software for a contact center, very, very similar experience. You wouldn't get lost in it straight away. So what we've had from a historic perspective is, like many vendors, a whole series of clients that had their own look and feel, behaved in a slightly different way to achieve different objectives. What we've migrated to now, and part of the announcement, is this single client, this single user experience, whether it's Windows, Mac, or the XO client external to the company. But taking the bigger picture, this user experience extends to the web clients, the enterprise contact center, the admin portal, whether it's the desk phone. So it's that common user experience across every single touch point you have with the product. Why did we do this? Most importantly, it was endpoint consistency. But that dead easy meeting initialization, again, being able to meet when you want, with the people you need to, quickly and easily, was a key objective for us. And this concept of a completely integrated meeting, in that you've got collaboration, video, voice, understanding presence and availability, seeing when people leave and disappear, and this fluid shifting of modalities, the ability to easily and quickly add to the meeting. But one that I enjoy a lot is this flexible document management, and we have integration currently with Dropbox, and so if you have documents that are being used within that meeting as part of the overall flow, you can do that directly from within the client. Another one I find myself using a lot, and again, you're going to see a demonstration of the software later, but I find myself using this a lot. What you have here across the top, you can see that you've got people and groups at the top up here. And a group is just defined as a group of individuals that you'd work with on a regular basis. Over on the right-hand side, you have the option for some very quick, simple, easy group actions, such as starting a group meeting, or sending a group IM, or a voicemail, which if you try to do today is incredibly difficult to do. And this interface itself extends and contracts as you work your way through it. And again, you'll see that as we do a live demonstration. I talked about integration into CRMs. It's not just Salesforce, so Sugar CRM, Microsoft Dynamics, Zendesk, a whole collection of integration right from the get-go. Included some quotes in the presentation that you guys can use, feel free to use at will. But this was some of the feedback that we had from the beta customers on the user experience itself, on the client itself. I'd just say it's just a really neat, clean, simple, easy way, without much training, to be able to operate and communicate and collaborate with your colleagues. Some of the industry analysts' feedback, and I apologize for the industry analysts that sat around the table, according to some of your competitors as well. But
we know what to ignore and what
you know what to ignore. You can filter it, right? You go in. In fact, I'll jump straight over.
That's what we do. So.
That's what you're going to do anyway. So, and it's in the presentation for those that want it. You've got the quotes. One of the interesting things I found with this is the focus that the financial community has placed on this product. And if you've ever dealt with those guys, you know they're only interested in the dollar, cents, margin, and the rest of it. Yeah. One of them came out with a quote that we're actually pioneering hybrid, which I thought was an interesting stance. ShoreTel is pioneering hybrid. It's this mix and match mode, common user experience all the way across. Some of the quotes from the industry analysts, you got SunTrust, and these are just happen to be three analysts that are covering this. Public quotes. SunTrust coming out and saying that they believe this will provide a sustainable boost. Northland saying it's a catalyst for the stock. And Lake Street talking about a compelling product launch being an important aspect of ShoreTel's future. But you know, sometimes it's pretty good to not listen, which is really what we've done with this. And true inspiration from a conversation I heard took place years ago in the mid-1800s in New York. And they got a think tank of very respectable looking people with some rather odd choices in facial hair. And they were sat down and encouraged to discuss and think about where New York was going to be in 50 years, 100 years. They came to the conclusion that New York wouldn't exist. And it wouldn't exist because there are too many horses. And horses poo. And their view of life was there would be so much horse crap covering the Manhattan Island that it would be unlivable. You couldn't stay there. It's going to stink. It's going to be an awful place and nobody's going to want to live here and they're all going to leave. So New York, as we see it, is dead. What these guys couldn't envisage was public transport, the motor car, combustion engine. Their frame of reference for it just wasn't relevant. So I kind of go through this, you know, we were told many times that you shouldn't do this, you can't do this. Sometimes it's actually pretty good to not listen. Something backing up that we're not aware of here. Cruise ship going to come through. And when I started, this was one of the favorite quotes that I was given. They're all starting now. Favorite quotes I was given that I can't recall who to attribute this to, but you know, you can't do product and cloud as one solution. Why would you try? What's the point? Nobody else is doing it. Why you? And why now? And it kind of struck me as I've been working with ShoreTel over the years that we're large enough to do this in that we have the financial stability, we have a large enough R&D team to undertake this, but we're not so large that we don't have the divisions, the product divisions, and the general managers that are generally operating in their own interest. You don't get those antibodies that attach to a good idea. And so we're somewhat unique in that we're large enough to take this project on. We have the R&D resources, the financial stability, but we don't have people gathered around and say, that's not the way to do it, it's not the right way. But we had to go through an evolution to get there. And we talk a lot about the foundation, the migration and acceleration phases of ShoreTel. In the foundational phase, this was all about looking at the business model, our financial structure. Do we have the right approach to this? Systems analysis in terms of how customers interact with us on a regular basis, and an overall assessment of the go-to-market. This took place in the financial year 2013 for us, so about 2 years ago. We then entered a phase of migration, and this is important as we looked at every single facet of the company. I'm talking to you about one platform, one common experience, 2 ways to deploy it, either cloud or premise, and 3 ways as a customer to take advantage of that, cloud, premise, or a mix and match of the 2 hybrid. In order to make that real, you had to look at your websites. We had 2, had to make those 1. CRM solution, we actually had 4, we had to make that 1, a common experience, a single user experience. Support, when you call in, it's 1 common experience and all the training that runs with that. And the go-to-market alignment that came with that too. In short, this gives us the ability, as we enter the acceleration phase, to operate from a position of strength. The heavy lifting has been done. I talk a lot about, this is really ShoreTel getting back to our roots. This is the start. If you don't know the history of ShoreTel, about 18 years ago, there was one of the founders, Ed Bassett, was sat there installing a phone system and just thought it was hard, incredibly difficult to get done. Felt there had to be a better way, an easier way, and that's where ShoreTel started, from that simplicity and making it easier. When you fast forward 18 years, 19 years, we believe we're doing this all over again. It's a simpler, a better way to do cloud and premise and collaborate with 1 common user experience and every single facet of a company surrounding that 1 common user experience. Brilliantly simple, all over again. Questions, concerns, suggestions, rumors, innuendos? Yes, sir.
Is it possible for different users to communicate like the link does? Yeah. If you're a client and someone else is a client, can you be connected from a network point of view, like the federation or that?
Yeah, the question, in case you can't hear at the back, I'm not sure. Can you hear me okay at the back? Great. Okay. I can hear the noise coming up that corridor. And so the question was, what do we do if you're on a different system, federation kind of approach in terms of IAM? The initial release of this is it's ShoreTel. As we go forward, we'll be looking at how you, if you've got a legacy approach to it, how do you cohabitate with that? So we are looking at federation, but it's in a later release. It's not in this particular release.
You guys have
Work
seen,
down there.
you guys have seen a lot of things actually migrating off, customers off cloud services and legacy carrier sort of services. Do you have a preference of how you're going to deploy customers in the future? You have a preference to keep them on-prem or move them to the cloud eventually?
Yeah, so to try and paraphrase, if I've got it wrong, then please correct me. The question was cloud, so people moving off cloud onto premise?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, but I think a lot of ShoreTel customers have actually moved from legacy carrier services to your unified communications platform on-prem.
Yeah, more the big carrier here obviously offer a hosted voice, very vanilla voice solution. We've had a lot of customers move off that and needing a more richer unified communication experience.
Okay. And so what's the strategy then? Is it to keep them on-prem or eventually move them to the cloud?
Well, the strategy longer term is one of customer choice and flexibility. Frankly, I have no axe to grind one way or the other, whether it's a cloud or a premise, or you mix and match, and it's a hybrid approach. I don't think I've ever seen a good argument for removing that flexibility and choice from the customer long term. As you look at the UCaaS market itself, though, on a global basis, so moving out of the region and just taking a broader look at it for a second, there's still about 90% of the market is in CPE. So people are buying and owning. About 10% of it right now is cloud, but that's the area where the growth is. You're seeing growth rates in the 20% range for cloud UCaaS, and the CPE marketplace is arguably flat to down, depending on which vendor you are. We seem to get more than our fair share, but but essentially, as far as we're concerned, it's about customer choice and flexibility. Let them make that decision.
You said with the cloud offering most of it we built in Australia right now. When you plan to operate, how will you be hosting?
So we will have announcements for you soon, and as soon as we do, I'll reach back out to you, share the details.
Weeks, months, days?
You're going to put me on the spot with the time now, aren't you? Look, as soon as we've got it, we'll reach back out to you. We'll have Jamie and team, but it's not far away.
Right.
Can you just clarify your cloud plans? Because I mean, Jamie said that you will do cloud in the future, both delivered by yourself and for channel, but you've already got cloud now. So what's the new thing?
The new thing, as we're referring to it today, is just one common platform, a common experience, whether it's cloud or premise. The initial deployment for that, where you've got cloud and prem, will be a US deployment, and we will then roll out to the rest of the theatres as we...
Right, so that's taking the new product into as a service layer.
Yes.
But you're already there, so effectively you're announcing a cloud upgrade, hooray.
Sorry, your question?
Okay, well, you just released the new product.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're running the old product in the cloud, and you'll upgrade to the new product in the cloud. Is that the essence of it?
No, we will maintain the cloud product that you're referring to, if we could clarify for the rest of the audience as well, and I don't know if you want to comment on what you're doing in theatre in a second. We currently have ShoreTel Sky, and so that's the cloud offering in the US. ShoreTel Connect is an entirely new platform, and it's exactly the same for cloud or premise, or single tenant, multi-tenant, if you want to get into the details for it. And what's unique about that is that common user experience across. The initial deployments will be for new customers only, so it's not like we're taking our entire existing Sky base and moving them over to Connect. We will do over time, but it's a completely new platform, new features, new functionality, common user experience. It is the essence of the introduction. What we then do in theatre, as we roll out, I'll let you comment on your plans for the region itself.
Yeah, so the plans for the region, as I mentioned earlier, was today we're offering cloud services through our partners. So our partners, we're giving them the tools and flexibility around licensing, etc., to offer cloud-based services to their customers. Coming in the near future, we will build our own ShoreTel owned and managed solution that we'll then offer as a service.
Is that only local or is it global?
So that will be a local. It's a that will be a local platform that we'll offer here. In the US, we already have a cloud service in our Sky platform. And what Mark's trying to articulate is we have two different user experiences today: cloud and the on-premise, and two different applications, right? And what this Connect platform really does is give the customer a single user experience, whether they're using our cloud or our on-premise. Well, today, that's two separate experiences.
So effectively what you're talking about today is an upgrade to the on-prem experience for local customers with a movement towards a cloud offering at some point in the future, which sort of doesn't look the same as the current cloud offering that your partners offer.
The only difference there is it'll be a ShoreTel owned and managed service that we offer as a service. But today our partners are taking that responsibility.
So how do you deal with, I mean, if you've got partners out there who are already monetizing your product in the cloud hosted offering, how do you reconcile with them to take that back in-house?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that obviously we're having discussions with our partners around that. I think the answer there is there are different types of partners in the market, right? And they all have different business models. Our channel sees us have some larger system integrators and some really small type resellers. And they have different requirements as far as how they want to engage and sell our product. Some want to be able to purchase from us and build their own cloud offering, and they can afford to do so. They'll rebrand it, offer it as a white label service. Where others, the smaller guys just want to be able to resell what we can offer direct. So I think there'll be a place for both types of offerings to the market, and we're already having this discussion with partners.
So when you bring this locally as a cloud offering to ShoreTel, will you partner with a local CSP, or will you build your own data center? How are you going to roll it out? Because that's going to impact your timing to market.
Yeah, look, so what I will say is that there's already a lot of work that's been underway for the last 6 months or so. We do plan on owning that infrastructure ourselves in our own data center. We're not going to be giving our platform to somebody else to go and build for us.
Then are you going to have a common pricing scheme across the cloud and premises based on that?
Yes, so obviously across the premises solution, it's as you saw today.
Could you repeat the question a second? It's really hard to hear.
Yeah.
So are you going to have a common pricing scheme across the on-premises and the cloud offerings?
Yeah, so they are two different pricing schemes, meaning, as you saw today, the pricing that Mark showed is a price per user, one-off licensing price.
For the on-site.
For on-site, and as a service model, it's a price per user.
Yeah, but that pricing will be different than yet to be announced.
Correct.
Yeah.
The pricing we saw here, there's a minimum number of users? Is that 50, 100?
We don't have minimums. Yeah, we don't have minimums. Our product scales right down to a couple of users if the customer so desires. We have a space where we feel we're competitive. That's really a 50 to 5,000 user space. But there's no reason. We have plenty of customers today using our product with 5 or 10 people within their organisation.
So just about the client access, again, Jamie, Mark. So if you're using your customer on-prem with the client access license for a handset and a mobile, is that sort of backwardly compatible or forwardly compatible with a move to cloud or ShoreTel Connect?
So your question was?
Yeah, just a question about if you're on an existing customer and you've got client access license for handsets and mobile, what's the roadmap, I guess? What's the path forward with those client access licenses? Are they compatible with what you're going to offer in the future, either cloud or on-prem?
So if you're an existing, again, if I get it wrong, if you're an existing ShoreTel customer, the question, what happens with Connect is, so if you've got a service and support contract, upgrade, it's part of your service and support contract. And so there's no additional, let's start again and we'll charge you all over again. It's part of being a ShoreTel customer. If you're a net new customer, then these are the licenses and the prices that we apply. And some get grandfathered in.
Mike, just with regard to a hosted partner model and the ShoreTel model combined, can you have multiple clouds working together as
Gets a little confusing when you have multiple clouds and the whole concept of the cloud approach, notwithstanding a virtualized approach, private cloud. I mean, the whole idea and concept is that you don't worry about it and it's set somewhere else. I'm not sure how you'd operate with multiple.
So if you have a partner-hosted model, is that the same interface as the
yes,
ShoreTel?
If your question is, this is the same experience, yes, it would be the same
But
experience.
can you have both clouds? Can you have a multiple cloud environment where you have, you might have some partners and you buy some from ShoreTel and it all works together? Is that part of a multi-cloud hybrid environment equal to the on-prem and cloud as well?
I'm not sure where you'd end up with two versions of the cloud. And the issue would be, it would be the same user experience. What you wouldn't have is that commonality of the dial plan, because the two instances wouldn't necessarily work together. When we talk about hybrid, we talk a lot more about, look, you take 1,000 people company, and you've got a HQ where you've probably got 500 or so people sat there, and you've got IT support staff, etc. That would probably be a perfect instance where you would buy, own, operate, because you know how to do it. And then you've got remote offices, say 50 with 10 people each, take cloud. And we refer to having the same dial plan, the same databases, the same call records, CDRs, etc. All of that we'd refer to as a hybrid environment. Or if you've got a premise-based approach to it, and you're taking applications like mobility, like your translation, fax, scribe, those kind of applications from the cloud, we'd refer to that as a hybrid environment again. But specifically with a channel partner and then a ShoreTel service, I don't know that you would deploy those in the same environment.
What if you have some, say, legacy and you have some of your channel partner that's in the cloud, and that might be the case in Australia, right, because you're doing different partners right now. Once you launch yours, and say you want to add some ShoreTel cloud in addition to your partner cloud that you're also using.
To that same customer.
For the same customer. I'm just wondering if that
Stay with the partner.
Just stay with the partner.
No, we'd encourage that, absolutely. Stay with the partner.
Right, okay.
We see this multi-cloud solution, or this multi-cloud problem where the guys in Perth bought the solution through a partner, the guys in Sydney buy it direct from you. They want to interoperate, but they're cloud-based. The reality is that there are going to be multiple clouds inside organizations. So I think you're going to have to anticipate that problem arising. It's not going to be, I think, as simple as CPE and cloud. It's going to be potentially multiple clouds joining together.
Okay.
Yeah. You had a question?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, you've got your older platform,
Yeah.
the legacy world, which is still out there, and you've got the new Connect platform, which is newer, simpler, more brilliant, yada yada yada. How long are you going to support your old platform for your existing customer base, and is there a plan to gently shove them in the new direction, or will they be grandfather them for the next 15 years?
Incentivize rather than gently show.
Or whatever.
Whatever way you do it,
Yeah.
So the existing, if you've got a CPE purchase and you owned and you operate 14.2, our standard policy applies, and then we'll support you for it's actually a couple of releases, but the reality is we still have customers that are 3-4 releases behind the current one. We're not going to leave them alone. So we'll allow the upgrade process to take place. On the cloud side of it, and this is a US only or specific answer, so again, apologies for outside the theatre, but we have ShoreTel Sky. Over a period of time, we'll migrate those where it makes sense, because it's not that easy to just one morning say you're not on that, you're on this. So we'll work with customers to make that a reality, but I expect that we will have ShoreTel Sky in market for existing customers for a couple of years. And on the CPE side, my guess is it's going to take a couple of 3 years to migrate everybody over to the new platform.
So you can by like 2018,
Up to them.
the old platform will disappear by then.
But it's up to them and their pace.
So I imagine you have customers with capital investment in their internal system, and they're going to hang on to that until the end of time if they can.
Which we'll encourage. Yeah.
The support.
ShoreTel customers, yeah, through your support contract.
Where's ShoreTel on reference designs and integrated hardware packaging? Because I'm seeing a lot of UC being sold that way.
You're referring to the ODM approach that some of the other vendors are taking? And
No. I mean, a vial will sell you a stack in a box with its UC running on it. Dell will do you pre-designed stack of kits certified to run Link the moment you plug it in. I'm just wondering where ShoreTel is with that kind of thing.
we're taking the approach. We have a fully integrated solution. We're new to that, new to market with that. This is the first platform of its kind. We believe we've got the right approach and the right solution for it.
Okay, so short answer, no, you're not doing it.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Before you had the group chats, you could send a group voicemail. Can you send a group video mail? And can you do group video conferencing?
The first 3 quick group actions are creating a meeting, sending a chat, or a group voicemail. And we'll have more as we go forward, but those are the first 3 in market.
Any other questions?
All right. You should probably eat, Mark, and then I can ask as they go solutions.
Yeah, so let's finish our mains, and shortly I'm going to invite John Jackson up to the floor to give you a live demo of the actual site.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.